Reincarnation proven by a child Indian girl 4 years old shocks the world by remembering her past life, a true story of reincarnation. Delhi, 1934. The morning sun filters through the cotton curtains of the modest Devi family home. Shanti, a girl of only 4 years old, plays quietly on the kitchen floor while her mother, Ganga Devi, prepares the morning tea. Suddenly, Shanti stops playing, her small eyes fix on the void, as if contemplating something beyond the brick walls. "Mother," her voice sounds different, more mature. "I don't belong here." Ganga Devi smiles distractedly, stirring the sugar. "Of course you do, my child. You were born right here." "No." Shanti stands slowly, her small hands trembling almost imperceptibly. "I used to live in Mathura, with my husband Kedarnath and my little son. Our house had a courtyard with a mango tree in the center. The clatter of the spoon hitting the floor echoes through the kitchen. Ganga turns, her face pale. Mathura is more than 150 kilometers from Delhi. Shanti has never been there. Shanti, stop with this game. But in the child's eyes there is no game. There is a deep, ancient sadness that should not exist in someone so young. "I died, Mother. I died when my baby was born. There was so much blood." Shanti touches her own abdomen, as if she still felt the pain. Kedarnath cried so much. He still cries. The silence that follows is heavy, filled with something inexplicable that makes the kitchen air seem denser. A shiver runs down Ganga's spine. From the yard, the morning birdsong seems distant, almost unreal, as if the normal world had shifted a few inches away from reality. 2 weeks had passed since that morning in the kitchen, but Shanti's words echoed endlessly in Ganga Devi's mind. She watches her daughter during dinner, noticing how the girl barely touches the vegetable curry, the very dish she always loved. "Lugdi didn't like food that was too spicy," Shanti murmurs, pushing rice around her plate. "Kedarnath always complained that I didn't eat enough." Baburam Devi, Shanti's father, looks up from his newspaper. It's the first time he hears these strange stories. "Who is Lugdi, daughter?" "I am Lugdi." The answer comes without hesitation, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Or I was. Now I'm Shanti, but sometimes I forget. The couple exchange worried glances. Babu slowly folds the newspaper. "Shanti, you're only 4 years old. Where did you learn these names?" The girl sighs, a sound too heavy for her small lungs. "I didn't learn, Papa. I remember. I remember the smell of incense in the temple where I got married. I remember the weight of the red sari, the jewelry that jingled when I walked." Ganga feels her hands tremble. Children have fertile imaginations, don't they, Ram? But even as she speaks the words, she knows it isn't imagination. There is something in the details Shanti describes, the specific texture of a fabric, the particular sound of a man's voice calling out "Lugdi," that feels too visceral to be fantasy. That night, after Shanti falls asleep, the couple whisper in the dark of their room. Their voices carry a fear neither wants to admit. "What if it's true?" Ganga asks the void. Ram's silence is answer enough. 3 months later, the Devi family's living room receives an unexpected visitor. Deshbandhu Gupta, professor and researcher of unexplained phenomena, carefully removes his glasses and cleans them with a white cloth. His hands, marked by age, tremble slightly, not from nervousness, but from restrained anticipation. "Mr. Devi, I received your letter through a journalist colleague. Cases like this, well, they are rare but not unique." His voice carries decades of experience. "I would like to speak with Shanti, if you permit." The girl enters the room with hesitant steps, but when her eyes meet Gupta's, something shifts. She straightens as if recognizing a familiar authority. "Do you believe me?" The question comes directly, without childish roundabout. Gupta leans forward. "Tell me about your house in Mathura, Shanti. It had 2 stories. On the ground floor, Kedarnath kept his fabric shop. We sold silk and cotton saris. I sometimes helped with the customers." Shanti closes her eyes, as if walking through the memories. "Upstairs, our bedroom was to the right of the staircase. There was a wooden box under the bed where I kept my jewelry and 150 rupees I hid from Kedarnath." Gupta stops writing. He looks at Shanti's parents, then back at the child. "Do you remember how you died?" The air in the room seems to grow colder. Shanti touches her abdomen again, that gesture that had become habitual. "Complications during childbirth. There was so much blood. The doctor tried, but—" Her voice breaks, and for a moment it is no longer the voice of a child. "Kedarnath held my hand until the end. I told him to take good care of our baby." Gupta slowly closes his notebook. His decades of scientific skepticism clash with something his intuition recognizes as truth. "Shanti, How would you feel if we found this family in Mathura? The girl's eyes fill with tears, of relief, of fear, of an impossible longing. I need to see them again. The Delhi train station bustles with the morning rush as Gupta, accompanied by 2 fellow researchers, boards the train to Mathura. They carry a notebook filled with details provided by Shanti. Names, addresses, physical descriptions, characteristics of the house and the family. The 3-hour journey is marked by tense silence. Each one processes the impossibility of what they are about to investigate. Mathura greets them with its narrow streets and the aroma of incense from the temples. Gupta consults his notes and heads toward Shobhe Gali, exactly where Shanti said the house would be. The 2-story building is there, exactly as described. A middle-aged man opens the door, thin face, neatly trimmed beard, eyes carrying a lingering sadness. It is Kedarnath Chaubey. Sorry to disturb you. I'm a researcher from Delhi. I'd like to ask a few questions about your late wife. Kedarnath's face tightens. Lugdi died 5 years ago. Why would you want to know about her? Gupta takes a deep breath. A child in Delhi has been making very specific claims about your wife's life. Details that, well, would be impossible to know. Kedarnath invites them inside. The house matches Shanti's descriptions perfectly. Upstairs, Gupta identifies the couple's bedroom, exactly to the right of the staircase. May I ask about a wooden box your wife kept under the bed? Kedarnath pales. How do you know about that? And money she might have hidden from you? Kedarnath's hands tremble as he kneels down and pulls a small wooden box from beneath the bed. Inside, simple jewelry and exactly 150 rupees in old notes. I never knew about this money until after she died, Kedarnath whispers. Lugdi was always reserved about such things. Gupta feels the ground shift beneath his feet. Every detail is confirmed with chilling precision. From the courtyard, the sound of a child playing drifts in through the window. It is Lugdi's son, now 5 years old, laughing as he chases a kite. The mystery has just become proven reality. Back in Delhi, the Devi family's living room has never felt so small. Gupta sits in front of Shanti, his notes spread across the low table like evidence of an impossible crime. The weight of confirmation hangs over everyone present. Shanti, everything you told us about Mathura has been confirmed. The house, the family, the hidden objects, everything. Gupta speaks slowly, as if still trying to process reality itself. Kedarnath confirmed every detail. The girl shows no surprise, only deep relief, as if she could finally stop carrying a burden far too heavy for her small shoulders. I knew you would believe me once you saw it. Her words sound tired. Professor, may I tell you something I never said before? Ganga Devi leans forward, hands clasped tightly in her lap. I chose to come back. Shanti looks directly into Gupta's eyes. When I died, I didn't go straight to another place. I stayed in a space between worlds. The room falls utterly silent. Even the noise from the street seems to vanish. There were beings of light there. They showed me Kedarnath crying every night, blaming himself for my death. They showed me my son asking why his mother wasn't coming back. I saw the pain my departure had caused. Tears streamed down the child's face, but her voice remained steady. The beings gave me a choice: move on to where souls rest, or return to heal the wound I had left. I chose to return, but on one condition: I had to remember everything so I could help them free themselves from guilt. Gupta drops his pen. In his 20 years investigating paranormal phenomena, he has never heard anything so specific about the process of reincarnation. Shanti, are you saying your reincarnation has a specific purpose? Yes. I came back to heal what was broken when I left. The answer resonates through the room like a truth no one is prepared to accept, yet none can deny. 2 weeks later, the platform at Mathura station receives unusual visitors. Shanti walks between her parents and Gupta, her steps small but resolute. It is the first time she returns to the city she claims was her home in another life. The train halts with a metallic hiss. When Shanti steps down, something extraordinary happens. She stops, takes a deep breath, and smiles. The air here smells different. It smells like home. Without hesitation, she begins walking through the streets of Mathura. Not like a child exploring a new place, but like someone returning after a long absence. She turns left at the first corner, then right, navigating the maze of narrow streets with absolute confidence. Mr. Mishra's sweet shop is still here, she says, pointing to a small shop with peeling walls. He always gave me an extra laddu when I bought them for Kedarnath. Gupta checks with a passerby. It is confirmed. Mr. Mishra did indeed work there 5 years ago, exactly when Lugdi was alive. They arrive at Chobe Gali. Shanti stops in front of the two-story house, her small hands trembling. It's different. Kedarnath painted the door blue instead of green. She touches the front wall. But this is it. This is my house. Kedarnath appears at the door. When he sees Shanti, his face changes. There is something in the child's posture, in the way she looks at him, that awakens a primitive, inexplicable recognition. Lugdi? The word escapes his lips like a whisper. Shanti runs to him. Kedarnath kneels, and she throws herself into his arms, crying as if 5 years of longing poured out all at once. "Forgive me for leaving," she sobs against his chest. "It wasn't your fault. It was never your fault." Kedarnath weeps as well, holding the child who carries the soul of his dead wife. Neighbors gather in the street, whispering among themselves. Some recognize gestures, expressions, the way Shanti touches Kedarnath's face, exactly as Lugdi used to do. The impossible has not only become real, it has become profoundly human. Inside the house, Shanti walks through the rooms as if she recognizes every shadow, every creak of the floorboards. Kedarnath follows her in silence, still processing the impossibility of the moment. "The copper pot in the kitchen is cracked," she observes, touching a small fissure on the side. "It happened when I was 7 months pregnant. I dropped it while trying to reach the spices on the high shelf." Kedarnath nods silently. The pot is exactly where it has always been, with the same crack. In the main bedroom, Shanti goes straight to a specific wardrobe. "Are my wedding clothes still here?" She opens the doors without hesitation. There lies the red sari embroidered with golden threads, carefully preserved. Shanti touches it with reverence, as if recognizing every fiber. "I wore this on our wedding day. You said I looked like a goddess." She looks at Kedarnath with eyes that carry memories of decades. "Do you remember the song that played when we danced?" Kedarnath sinks heavily onto the bed. "How could I forget? It was Mira Bhajan. You hummed it softly in my ear." Shanti begins to hum the melody, the same tone, the same rhythm that Lugdi used to use. The voice is that of a child, but the soul of the music is unmistakably familiar. From the courtyard comes the sound of small footsteps. Lugdi's son, now 5 years old, appears at the bedroom door. He looks at Shanti with innocent curiosity. "Papa, who is she?" Shanti kneels before the boy. I was your mother, my son." The boy tilts his head, studying Shanti's face. Then, with no logical explanation, he steps forward and embraces the strange child who claims to be his reincarnated mother. "You smell like the flowers Papa leaves on your picture," he whispers. Kedarnath watches the scene, tears streaming silently. His two realities, past and present, merge in a moment that defies every law of nature he knows. Outside, the sun sets over Mathura, painting the sky orange and pink, the same colors Lugdi used to admire from the window of this very room. The next day, Kedarnath's house turns into a laboratory for truth. Gupta has brought 2 fellow researchers from Delhi, and together they conduct the most rigorous test they can devise. "Shanti, we're going to do an experiment," Gupta explains, placing a chair in the middle of the room. "I want you to describe objects and places from Lugdi's life that no one here has mentioned before." The girl sits calmly. "Can I talk about the scar?" Kedarnath frowns. "What scar?" "On your right arm near the elbow. You cut yourself on glass when you were 12, falling from the mango tree at your parents' house." Shanti traces an imaginary line in the air. "It's shaped like a crescent moon." Kedarnath's eyes widen, and slowly he rolls up his sleeve. There is the scar, crescent-shaped, exactly where Shanti described. "Only Lugdi knew the story of this scar," he whispers. "I never told anyone else." "And Mr. Lal's gold tooth, the neighbor on the corner," Shanti continues, "the third tooth in the front, on the right side. He used to say it made noise when he ate peanuts." One of the researchers runs out to check. 50 minutes later he returns, breathless. "Confirmed. Mr. Lal has exactly that gold tooth in the position described. But it is the next test that shatters any final resistance to the impossible. Shanti, was there something only you and Kedarnath knew? Something intimate that was never shared?" The child looks directly at Kedarnath. "On our honeymoon, you told me about the recurring nightmare you had since childhood. You dreamed you were drowning in a dark river, and you always woke up shouting, 'Mata Ji.'" Kedarnath turns completely pale. His legs give way, and he has to lean against the wall. I never told anyone that, not even my mother, only Lugdi, on our first night together." The silence that follows is dense, heavy with the weight of a truth that transcends all rational explanations. Gupta slowly closes his notebook. In 2 decades of research, he has never witnessed such irrefutable proof. Reincarnation is no longer theory. It is documented fact, tested and confirmed. 3 days later, the Devi family's living room receives an esteemed visitor. Dr. Ian Stevenson, renowned psychiatrist and reincarnation researcher from the University of Virginia, has arrived especially to study Shanti's case. In 40 years of research, I have documented more than 3,000 cases of past life memories, Dr. Stevenson explains, adjusting his glasses. But I rarely find one with so many independent verifications. Shanti is sitting on the floor playing with dolls, seemingly oblivious to the scientific importance of her existence. Professor Gupta sent me your notes. The evidence is extraordinary. Stevenson addresses Shanti gently. Can you tell me what happens between one life and another? The girl stops playing. When she lifts her eyes, there is an ancient wisdom in them. After I died, it didn't turn dark the way people think. There was light, but it didn't hurt my eyes. Her voice takes on an almost hypnotic tone. I was floating, but not with the body. It was like being a thought that can move. Dr. Stevenson writes down every word meticulously. There were beings there. They didn't have forms like we do, but I knew they were teachers. They showed me a screen like in the cinemas where I could see Kedarnath and my son. What did you see on that screen? Kedarnath couldn't sleep. He held my picture and cried every night. My son asked when Mummy was coming back home. Tears streamed down Shanti's face. The teachers said I could choose. Go to the place where souls rest, or return to heal the pain I had left behind. And you chose to return? Yes, but with one condition. I had to remember everything, otherwise I couldn't prove who I was, and I wouldn't be able to help them. Dr. Stevenson stops writing. Shanti, you're describing a conscious and purposeful reincarnation. That suggests that our soul can choose its next experiences in order to evolve and heal. Shanti finishes the sentence. The teachers told me that love never dies. It only changes form. The renowned scientist remains silent for a long moment, processing implications that could revolutionize humanity's understanding of life, death, and the continuity of consciousness. 6 months after the scientific verification, the waves of the Shanti Devi case spread far beyond expectations. The modest Devi family home in Delhi has become a pilgrimage site for the curious scientists and skeptics from all over the world. Dr. Stevenson published his findings in an international scientific journal, causing an earthquake in the academic world. The Indian government formed an official commission to investigate the case, led by renowned scholars and judges. It is the most well-documented case of reincarnation in modern history, declares the official report. The evidence is conclusive and defies conventional explanations. But the true transformations happen at the most human level. Kedarnath, for the first time in 5 years, is able to sleep without nightmares. The guilt that consumed him over Lugdi's death gradually dissolves, replaced by the understanding that love transcends physical death. She came back to show me it wasn't my fault, he confides to Gupta during one of his visits. Shanti gave me the forgiveness I could never give myself. Lugdi's son, now 7 years old, has developed a unique bond with Shanti. They exchange letters, and the boy finally stops asking when Mommy will come home. But perhaps the most profound change happens within Shanti herself. As she fulfills her mission of healing, Lugdi's intense memories begin to soften, allowing her to live fully as the child she is. It's like 2 people live inside me, she explains to her parents. But now Lugdi is quieter. She's happy because she was able to help. Ganga Devi watches her daughter playing in the yard, finally looking like a normal 7-year-old child. But at night, when Shanti tells stories about the teachers of light and the place between worlds, the family knows their daughter carries a rare gift, living proof that death is not the end. The scientific world will never be the same. 2 years have passed since the official confirmation of the case. Shanti, now 9 years old, has developed the unique ability to consciously move between her 2 identities. On a hot April afternoon, she makes an unusual request to her parents. I want to go to Mathura one last time. As Lugdi, the family understands the meaning. It is time for the final closure. The trip to Mathura is different this time. Shanti travels in silence, as if preparing for a sacred ceremony. As the train approaches the station, she whispers, Lugdi is saying goodbye. At Kedarnath's house, the entire extended family gathers. Neighbors, distant relatives, people who knew Lugdi in life. It is like a reversed funeral, a celebration of the soul's continuity. Shanti walks slowly into the main bedroom. Her small hands touch each object with reverence, The bed where Lugdi died, the mirror where she combed her hair, the jewelry that now belongs to the past. Kedarnath, she calls in a voice that no longer sounds like a child's. I need to tell you something important. He approaches, immediately recognizing that it is not Shanti speaking, but Lugdi through her. My mission here is complete. You no longer blame yourself for my death. Our son understands that a mother's love never disappeared. It only changed form. Tears stream down the child's face. Now I can leave in peace. Kedarnath embraces her, feeling for the last time the spiritual presence of his deceased wife. Thank you for coming back, he whispers. Thank you for showing me that love is eternal. Shanti steps back from the embrace. For a moment her eyes shine with a supernatural light, as if two souls were saying farewell to one another. Lugdi is leaving now, she announces, her childish voice returning. She said she's happy. In the room a soft breeze stirs the curtains, even though the windows are closed. The scent of jasmine, Lugdi's favorite perfume, fills the air for a few seconds before fading completely. Reincarnation has fulfilled its purpose. Healing is complete. 5 years later, Shanti Devi is a 14-year-old teenager who has grown up under the spotlight of the world's scientific community. Her home in Delhi maintains constant correspondence with reincarnation researchers, but Shanti herself seems to have found peace with her extraordinary experience. Lugdi's memories are still there, she explains to Dr. Stevenson during his annual visit. But now they're like old photographs in an album. I can look at them when I want, but they no longer control my life. Shanti has developed unusual wisdom for her age. She speaks about life and death with a natural ease that impresses adults, and her presence brings comfort to grieving people who seek her out for hope. Death is only a door, she often says. On the other side, love continues. It just changes form. Kedarnath, now remarried and with a new daughter, visits Shanti annually, no longer as someone seeking healing, but as a friend who shares an experience impossible to forget. She gave me back the ability to love without fear, he tells researchers. Lugdi taught me that we can love deeply without fearing loss, because what is real is never lost. The case of Shanti Devi was officially catalogued by the Indian government as a phenomenon unexplained by conventional science and included in the country's permanent archives. Dr. Stevenson considers it the most well-documented case of reincarnation in scientific history, but perhaps the most important legacy is the personal transformation of everyone involved. A family that learned love transcends death, a widower freed from guilt, a child who grew up knowing her existence serves a greater purpose, and the entire world, which gained tangible proof that human consciousness survives physical death, that our souls make conscious choices, and that true love is truly eternal. In her home in Delhi, Shanti keeps a small box with letters from people around the world who found hope in her story. Each letter represents a life touched by the proof that death is not the end. At night, when she looks at the stars from her bedroom window, Shanti sometimes feels Lugdi's subtle presence, not as an invasion of memories, but as a silent blessing, a gentle reminder that her extraordinary life served the noblest purpose possible, to heal wounded souls and to prove that love is indeed stronger than death. The case that began with a 4-year-old child making impossible claims ends with the scientific certainty that reincarnation is real, that souls consciously choose their journeys, and that some people return not for themselves, but to heal those they left behind. Shanti Devi became living proof that we are more than just physical bodies. We are eternal consciousnesses, capable of loving beyond death and choosing to return when love demands it. And this is humanity's greatest spiritual revolution, discovering that we are never truly alone and that true love always finds its way back. If this story touched you deeply, you are not alone. The case of Shanti Devi is just one among hundreds of children around the world who carry impossible memories of past lives. Each story is a window into mysteries that science is only beginning to understand. Subscribe to the channel now so you won't miss any extraordinary case that may change your view on life, death, and the purpose of the human soul. Comment below. Do you believe that some children can truly carry souls from past lives? Have you ever witnessed something similar in your family? Now stay tuned for the next video about another extraordinary mystery that challenges our understanding of reality.